ritual.
Every culture in human history has had its monsters: dragons, giants, and sea serpents. Flying and fearsome, villainous and venomous. Mythical monstrosities that only exist in fable, folklore, and fairy tales. Or maybe not. Imagine a day of monsters. When we look at actual creatures that exist and have existed, it isn't that hard. Huge animals that crawl, slither, swim, and fly, and fossils that show the existence of gigantic beasts from ages past. When we see these, we can understand why people long ago said, "Here be dragons." Anytime we're talking about legend or folklore, we always have to remember that a lot of stories are based on things that actually happened. But imagine, long ago, you're sitting around the campfire at the local tavern and people are telling stories. Well, you may hear an interesting story and you may go tell it to your friend, and then your friend eventually tells it to his friend, and so on and so on and so on. And obviously the person who has the most exciting story is going to get the most attention and maybe even a free meal. So a lot of times, as the stories are passed on, they grow and grow and grow. So some of the things that we hear in stories may be based on some things that actually occurred. For instance, fishermen catching a giant squid may have lived the story of the Kraken.
Imagine yourself sailing along in one of those big ships, and the water starts bubbling and shifting until all of a sudden the Kraken attacks. Fishermen long ago may have caught giant squids that still exist today. They have long tentacles with suckers and even claws too, and in the center, an eagle-like beak.
The squid has a jet propulsion system. It sucks in water and then squirts it out the bottom so it can move through the ocean.
The giant squid has the largest eye in all of the animal kingdom. It can be as big as a human head. The giant Pacific octopus can have over 2,000 suckers on its tentacles.
The suckers on an octopus are a lot like these suction cups. Let's see how strong they are.
Look, I can pick up a can of baby carrots with it.
Can you imagine hundreds of those in one tentacle? How strong that would be?
That'd be pretty strong.
You can do this at home.
These suction cups remind me of what we're doing next summer called Be an Animal for a Day, where we learn different things like these suction cups about octopus, but about different animals.
We want everybody to come and dress as their favorite animal.
The people of Fiji for many years have believed in a giant shark god, Dakawinga.
These fishermen off the island of Fiji go out in these small canoes, but believing that there is a giant shark god underneath those oceans, keeping them safe. Dakawinga is said to swim the waters of Fiji, protecting the fishermen and punishing the evildoers, and with the ability to turn into a man or even a sea snake, and is reported to be at least 60 feet long. A great white shark can be up to 20 feet long. Let's check that out and see how long that is.
I'm 4 feet tall. We're going to see how many of me it takes to make a great white shark.
Lila? Go ahead. 2 Lilas. 3 Lilas. 4 Lilas. 5 Lilas. Now that is the length of a great white shark.
Totally.
Also, too many Lilas, in my opinion. I couldn't do it so.
You can do this yourself to see how many of you it takes.
To bring about the belief in Dakawinga, it is possible that men long ago found the teeth or the jaws of a 60-foot long megalodon. Measuring in at 60 feet long, that's longer than a school bus.
This is a mako shark jaw. You can tell from the jaw that the shark would be about 8 to 10 feet long. You can't measure a shark after it's dead and decayed because they don't have bones.
They have cartilage in their bodies, like in your nose and your ears.
Just like with Megalodon, we can only guess how big they are based off of their jaws and teeth. This is an average shark tooth.
This is an average Megalodon tooth.
See the difference?
And then there's the Leviathan, a carnivorous whale as large and as fearsome as the Megalodon. With 14-inch teeth and the larger brain of a mammal, the Leviathan would have been very deadly. The largest whale today is the blue whale, sometimes measuring as long as 100 feet. Did you know that land animals are limited as to how large they can grow due to gravity? But ocean mammals have less of a limitation due to the buoyancy of the water that they swim in. The mosasaur is another prehistoric ocean creature that may have led to the belief in sea serpents, along with the plesiosaur that many believe is evidence of the Loch Ness Monster.
The dwarf elephant's skull is about twice the size of a human skull, but it has a hole about right here for the nasal cavity to attach to the trunk. But that hole could also resemble an eye socket, and so many believe that people long ago found those skulls and led them to believe in the one-eyed Cyclops. In the story of Odysseus, he and his men were captured by a Cyclops, and they pulled sheepskin over their backs in order to escape, and Odysseus put out the Cyclops' eye with a stick.
The discovery of fossils have led to many legends and folklore.
Many believe that the fossilized skeletal remains of the dinosaur, the Protoceratops, led to the belief in the eagle-headed, lion-bodied griffin.
The Protoceratops walked on all fours and was similar in size to the lion, but primarily its skull looked like it had a beak like a giant eagle.
Many mythological stories use snakes as a representation of evil. For example, Hercules fought the many-headed Hydra, and Medusa, who could turn you to stone with a stare, had hair made of snakes.
Snakes for hair? I'd hate to be her hairdresser.
Some can stretch open their jaw to swallow large prey, some have long, venomous fangs, and some can grow to unimaginable lengths.
Did you know the king cobra can raise up to 6 feet tall?
So I'm 6 feet tall. A king cobra that's about this big around can stand up to 6 feet tall. So imagine coming into a nest of these all at you. You can see how that could possibly lead itself to the story of the Hydra fighting against Hercules. Because imagine he comes into a nest like this and they pop up, he cuts at one, but there's 40 in this nest, 2 more pop up. And so the story goes that he cut off the head of the Hydra and 2 more grew in its place. So you can see how that story could grow from king cobra nest to Hydra with multiple heads growing back every time it was cut down. Like other animals of legend, they are ancient, giant versions of the modern day creature. Like in India, the 11.5-foot Sanajay, and in Africa, Gigantophus, measuring over 30 feet long. And in Colombia, fossils were found of a 50-foot long snake that has been named Titanoboa, meaning Titanic boa. I know this year is not at all like any of us want it to be, and we're hoping that next year will be back to normal. So in 2021, this is what we have planned for you in the theme Tales and Tales. The first one is this: aliens in the animal kingdom. We're going to be talking about all the strange but true animals that exist in our vast animal kingdom. The next one we'll be talking about records in the animal kingdom. Which one the fastest, tallest, heaviest, most colorful, all those kind of things. And we're calling that one the Fast and the Furriest. One of our most favorite shows is when we teach about flight. And this year we're going to be talking about all the animals that fly. The feathered animals that fly in the sky, as well as things like flying squirrels and flying fish. How do they fly? And we're going to cover that in our show, Soar. Then one of our most special events is going to be an animal for the day. What you're going to do is you're going to come in and we're going to teach you all different things and let you experience what it's like to be an animal. Like you'll use night vision goggles to see how animals can see in the dark and a variety of things like that. But we're asking everybody to come dressed as your favorite animal that day. Speaking of tales, we're going to be talking about some older tales, some tales from way back. In fact, we're going to be talking about dinosaurs. There's so many different ones, but you'll be able to see and touch real fossils and learn all about how fossils are found and how they're made, and you'll see all sorts of things about dinosaurs. It's going to be lots of fun, and we're calling it the oldest tales ever told. One of my favorite things to talk about is the ocean, because we know more about our moon than we do our own ocean. And there's so many stories from the ocean, not just from under the ocean, but above the ocean. And some of my favorite novels, like Treasure Island and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, we're going to be talking about some of those stories, but also some of the amazing science of our oceans in Whale of a Tale. We can't wait to see you in 2021. Be safe and be there.
Native Americans in the western plains of the United States believed in a giant eagle-like creature called the Thunderbird. When it flapped its wings, it created storms, and it could pick up grown men in its talons and carry them away.
The African lightning bird, Impundulu, as well as the Paisa, the Native American thunderbird, were winged creatures that flew through the air, causing storms and carrying away people in their talons.
The claw.
The eagle's wingspan can be anywhere from 6 to 7.5 feet long. Eagles can weigh around 15 pounds and have been known to pick up and carry other animals that weigh as much as 15 to 20 pounds themselves. Following this logic, an eagle big enough to pick up a man would have to weigh anywhere from 100 to 250 pounds. With that in mind, a long time ago, the largest bird ever known was Argentavis magnificens, that weighed 150 pounds and was the size of a Cessna airplane with a wingspan of 25 feet. Pterosaurs, like the well-known pterodactyl, can have wingspans up to 39 feet long. With claws at the midpoint of their wings, it would appear that they use those to leap into the air off of all fours instead of flapping their wings to get started. It is thought any flying creature big enough to lift a man would not be able to just flap its wings like a normal bird. It would have to leap into the air, holding out its wings, and get enough speed to soar into the air.
Let's see how wide Lila's wingspan is. You can even do this at home. It's about 46 inches. Squawk!
What would your wingspan be?
I'm going to show you how you can make your own dragon paper airplane at home. First, start by folding your paper halfway long ways. And push down on the crease so you get a good imprint. Then fold it open again. Now take it and fold the corners inward to the crease and press down on the crease. Now take the edges of where you just folded and fold that inwards so it goes all the way to the crease again. And repeat that on the other side. Now, take your top, which is the pointy part, and fold it inwards till it touches the edge. Now take these corners and fold them inwards. Make sure they are even. Now take this and fold it upwards. Now flip this over, and right where the crease is, where you made the imprint in the beginning, fold it over. Now fold this part inwards, like so, and then do that to the other side. And when you're ready to fly, it should look like this. Now take it out for a test flight.
Imagine you're in medieval times and you're digging a foundation for a castle. And as you're digging, you found one of these right here. You wouldn't know what you'd found. There are all sorts of creatures still living today. The crocodile, alligator, even the Komodo dragon, that look and seem like they might be the descendants of real dragons.
Everyone is talking about on Facebook tonight. Take a look at this guy, an alligator probably bigger than you've ever seen, crossing a trail in a Polk County park.
Yeah, it really is an unbelievable sight, isn't it? ABC Action News reporter Ryan Raish caught up with the brave hikers who captured this big guy in action and explains the backstory of this monster gator.
It's the video that lit up the internet today. An alligator nearly as long as an SUV, sauntering from one marsh to another and stunning onlookers nearby.
It was just awe-inspiring.
Christy Buckley was just wrapping up a morning hike with her husband Sean when the gator started to move. That's them right there lying on the ground, capturing these still pictures from the other angle. And yes, he's just as big from that side too.
So my husband and I are calling him Godzilla because that's kind of what he looked like going across the path, yeah.
Crossing so slowly, his feet flopping with every step, and that tail dragging long behind.
He's so prehistoric looking. He's amazing.
And before you start calling this a fake, talk to the regulars at Circle B. The estimated 13 to 15 foot gator even has a name, and it's been around here for decades.
The big humpback is what everybody's calling him. His back is a little bit higher up than normal.
So check this out. Normally Circle B is a pretty quiet park. Not today. Everyone's heard about that gator and are actually making up their own parking spot just to get a peek.
We live nearby and we come out here, but we came out today because of that.
The trails on this protected, sprawling piece of land is a hotspot for hikers and photographers because you never know what you'll find. Like in this case last spring. This time around, Buckley says they never felt threatened, and they were ready to jump to their feet if needed.
I probably should have been a little more afraid than I was. I was just so inspired by seeing this amazing creature.
A creature that almost looks to be from a different era. In Lakeland, Ryan Raish, ABC Action News.
Imagining someone coming across one of those and then telling the story about it. You can see how that story might grow into a big dragon. So imagine someone's in a swampy area, they come across an 18-foot-long alligator, and they fight it off with their sword, and they come back and tell the story, and then that person tells the story to someone else about an 18-foot-long gator, and eventually it becomes an 18-foot-tall gator that's standing up, and then it becomes an 18-foot-tall gator that has wings and has claws and spits fire and all of that stuff. So you could see how it would grow that way. Finding fossils of dinosaurs in a day when dinosaurs were not known about or understood would most certainly be a fertile ground for huge imaginative stories to begin.
Which prehistoric creature slept all day? The dinosaur. They have 3 toes in the front and 1 in the back, just like a bird.
Look how big these leg bones had to be to hold up the whole body.
Wow. They have a long tail.
Can you imagine how strong that bite was?
The T-Rex had a bite 6 times stronger than an alligator.
Did you know the T-Rex could be up to 20 feet tall and 40 feet long?
So today we're going to do a little project to replicate some dinosaur fossils.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. And so what we're wanting to do is look something like you would find in an actual archaeological dig. So this is some stuff that they found.
Like some dino arms? Like some dinosaur arms?
Leg bones, arm bones,
They're
talons,
like,
all that kind of stuff. And you want to make the pieces that would make up the entire skeleton.
that sounds fun.
Right. So for what we're doing today, we will need 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of salt, and 1 cup of water. Do you need some? You got it? Alright, dump that in a bowl. That's good.
2 cups of flour?
2 cups of flour.
Okay. Get the knife out.
Okay. 1 cup of salt. And that you can kind of shake to level. There you go. Just dump it over in there. Alright.
And now we do the water.
1 cup of water. And we'll just do just a smidge more to make it where it was a full cup. That's good. Now we're going to mix all of this together with our hands and make a dough.
It's all gooey a little bit.
It's a little gooey. You want to get it mixed together really well so we can make a ball.
It's sticking to my fingers a lot. I'm a monster. It kind of looks like a dinosaur.
Keep mixing.
Whoops.
So we're going to roll this out onto the mat.
Make it a circle.
Well, you want to make it into a ball, but you're going to knead it for about 2 minutes until it gets firm. So we've got to get it into a ball. Maybe sprinkle some flour. Just a little bit to dust it. Okay, let's flip it over.
Oh, it gets stuck to the mat.
Okay, and so you want to knead it. Like that. Fold it in.
It's like you're playing the slime.
A little bit, but not quite so gooey.
Yeah.
And fold it over. See,
It breaks
it's getting
a little
harder to do it because it's getting firm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Think that's good.
Okay. So mine's going to be a leg bone, so I'm going to push it out on the ends.
There's 3 toes in the front and 1 in the back, just like a bird.
Now that we've shaped all of the bones, we need to gently place them into the baking dish, and then
we'll paint them.
And then we'll paint them a little bit with some food coloring to make them a little more lifelike.
Ooh, I think I know what to do with this.
When you are happy with your bones, are you happy with your bones?
I think they're awesome.
I think they are too. So we're ready to put this in the oven now, and it will be baked in the oven at 325 for 30 minutes per inch of thickness.
Okay.
So that one is going to bake for about 30 minutes, and this one is probably going to need a little bit longer because it's much thicker. Okay.
Now that you've got your fossils, you can bury them in the yard and go find them like a real paleontologist. Probably one of the most famous stories including a dragon would be the dragon in St. George. The story goes that St. George came, had to take care of this dragon that was endangering the people around. These are several paintings here, and you can see each time how much smaller this dragon is in these representations than what we might see in some of the fiction we read and watch today. That may lend itself to the story, or at least the belief, that maybe dragons were based on crocodiles and alligators. Now, there aren't too many crocodiles in the United Kingdom today, but long ago it may have been a different story. And of course, the knights of the day may be the reason there aren't any more. But you can see from the size of the dragon in this painting that it wouldn't be hard to confuse an alligator or a crocodile for one of these dragons.